Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. I hope everyone's having a good day, and I hope everyone is doing great. In today's video, we talk about this winter system that's set to impact the mid-Atlantic with heavy snow and heavy ice expected. Alright, now guys, before we get into the video, I'm going to go ahead and ask if you guys can hit that subscribe button as well as leave a like. It would be greatly appreciated. We are trying to reach 300 subscribers by the end of January, so if you're not already, hit that subscribe button. That'll be greatly appreciated. So, for today's question of the day, what skill would you like to master? Leave it down in the comments below, and I just might heart your comments. Now guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into it. Alright, so guys, we're taking a look at the radar view. So we actually do have this cold front that is advancing itself to the east here, moving its way basically towards the east, as we do have an area of low pressure off across the northeast, which is kind of dragging all this moisture in here from the Gulf. So we actually do have the threat for some thunderstorms across bits of the western side of the southeast. We'll get to that here in a second, as well as we are currently seeing some snow across bits of the Ohio Valley, into bits of the Midwest, as well as the Central Plains. So now we're taking a look here at the future radar in terms of ahead of time. So across the southeast, like I was saying, we are currently seeing some thunderstorms. Now this model didn't really pick up on that snow that we actually did see currently occurring across bits of the Midwest into the Ohio Valley, which is kind of interesting though. Across the upper northeast, as we are seeing some snow exit the region of Maine here, as we did see this little system that did kind of scrape the north here across the states. Now as we do track down in time here, like I said, there will be some more snow that will develop across bits of the Ohio Valley here, driving its way through bits of the mid-Atlantic, potentially allowing for maybe some accumulations across those regions here, from the Ohio Valley into the mid-Atlantic and into the northeast here, as this cold front does continue to progress itself to the east here. And we will continue to see a lot of moisture drive its way into the southeast, as we're about to see here in the models. We actually are expecting a pretty significant ice storm to occur across the Carolinas. Right, so guys, now we're taking a look at the models in regard to your long-range American model, also known as the GFS. So, like we were expecting, we actually are seeing some snow across the Midwest into the bits of the Ohio Valley here, tracking its way into bits of the northeast, as well as bits of the mid-Atlantic view, as this cold front will advance itself to the east. Now, like I said before, we are expecting some thunderstorms across the southeast, but let's take a look at this upcoming system across the Carolinas. That kind of has our biggest concern at the moment. Maybe some snow across those upper elevations here, bits of, Idaho, as well as bits of western Montana here. But as we start to move into the 21st and 22nd, you can kind of see this pinkish shaded color is actually showing some sleet and freezing rain fall across the region here for the 22nd, from the 21st into the 22nd. Maybe some snow building in across bits of southern Virginia and through bits of North Carolina after this event here for the 22nd, as we start to see the streak of moisture really just drive its way through the southeast. So we could see a lot of potential impacts. Now, in terms of accumulations for snow, according to this model, as we do track down in time here, like I was saying, we are kind of expecting some snow on the back end of that cold front because, like I said before, the colder air is pushing along the back side of the cold fronts, which might actually allow it to transition from rain into snow, is what we're currently expecting. Across bits of Virginia, honestly, maybe 3 to 5 inches across some of these regions here, kind of across this light blue shade area, maybe 1 to 3, maybe some more higher amounts across bits of central Kentucky, according to this model alone. Now, there is a lot of disagreements as we start to move down in time. So, and then we have this other system that does impact the region, maybe allowing for 3 to 5 across bits of the the eastern side here of North Carolina. So obviously we do have a pretty big potential in terms of snowfall from this model. Now, in regard to ice accumulation out of this model, we do have a bit more agreement compared to the other models here, maybe up to a ½ an inch of ice possible along the coastline here of the Carolinas, which, honestly, this is a lot different story in compared to what these models had to say yesterday. So now we're taking a look here at the European model, also known as the ECMWF. So like I said, the same story. Snow on the backside of that cold front is kind of expected across the Ohio Valley into bits of the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. Now here, this one does have a little bit of differences in basically showing that we are expecting maybe a little bit more snow out of this system across bits of Virginia into North Carolina compared to what your GFS model had to say. Now, out of accumulation for this model in terms of snowfall is much different. You'll actually see it here. Across bits of central Virginia, the GFS model was actually showing 3 to 5 inches. Same thing, a little bit more across bits of central Kentucky, kind of reaching up and near 6 inches. But this model is only showing maybe near up to 3-4 inches. So obviously there is a lot of disagreement here. This one is showing a lot of snow for northeastern portions of North Carolina, potentially near a foot in some regions. Now, honestly, like I said before, this is still a lot of disagreement compared to what your other model had to say, so obviously we cannot be too certain at this time. Now, for ice accumulation, this one is a little bit more aggressive, as you'll actually see here. A lot more widespread ice is expected across bits of the eastern side here of North Carolina, potentially still getting up to near a ½ an inch. So there is some similarities. The GFS model was showing the potential of maybe up to near ½ inch. Same with this model. So we can kind of have some agreement in terms of things, but obviously this one is a little bit more, well covering a lot more areas here in terms of things. Alright, so guys, we're taking a look at the final model. This one is the National Weather Service Blend of Models. Like I said many times before, this basically just takes a whole bunch of model outputs, kind of blends them together to kind of give you the best bet in terms of what you kind of expect between the averages of all these models. So, as we do track down in time here, this first system behind the cold front might deliver 1 to 3 inches across a lot of these regions here. Really no more, maybe some locally higher amounts being possible. Now, as the second system does impact bits of, areas such as Virginia into North Carolina, we could potentially see a lot more accumulations, maybe up to 3 to 5 with locally higher amounts being possible across the northeastern side of North Carolina, as well as southeastern Virginia, kind of near Virginia Beach. Then we move on to ice. So this model is a lot less aggressive compared to what your GFS and your ECMWF model has to say. This one kind of has it getting up to maybe 3/10 of an inch across the coastal areas here of North and South Carolina. So obviously, kind of the areas that we are seeing here is kind of the average between what these models have to say. So, kind of across the coastal Carolinas, be aware, we actually are expecting some ice across these regions here. Alright, so guys, now we're moving on to the Storm Prediction Center because, like I said before, we do have the threat for severe weather today. This does unfortunately include tornadoes, damaging winds, as well as some large hail. We actually do have a slight risk and effect across bits of eastern Texas and through bits of Louisiana, southern Arkansas, as well as western parts of Mississippi. Basically, severe threat level 2 out of 5. So in terms of tornadoes, we actually do have a 5% chance across the brown shaded area, as well as that larger 2% chance. Basically showing that we have a 5 or 2% chance across those regions of seeing a tornado every single 25 miles. Now, in regard to damaging winds, we actually do have a 15% chance of seeing damaging winds 60 miles per hour or more, as well as the same thing for hail. We do have a small 15% chance across the eastern side of Texas, as well as western Louisiana, potentially getting up and over 1 inch in diameter or greater. Alright, so guys, we're taking a look here at the max temperatures here for today from your National Weather Service forecast. Across the southeast, we're talking temperatures here near the 80s across bits of the southern plains here. Relatively nice day across the southeast. Now, across the north, this is a completely different story. We're talking negative still across northern parts of North Dakota and through bits of western, Minnesota, as well as basically northeastern Montana. Really, really cold. Across the mid-Atlantic, it's a little bit more warmer than normal, but, overall, for a lot of these people across the south, we're looking at a pretty good day today, but across the north, it's pretty cold and frigid. So in regard to your temperatures for tonight, we are expecting really bitterly cold temperatures across a lot of the places here, especially across the north. Take a look at this. Temperatures near the negative 25 mark, according to some of these areas here across the upper Midwest into the northern plains here. That freezing point really driving its way down into the southern plains here across the west as well. So we do see this really strong, this freezing line really dive its way further south. Alright, so guys, we're taking a look at the National Weather Service hazards in regard to what is currently going on across the nation. So, across bits of the Carolinas, we actually are under a winter storm watch, basically showing that winter weather down the line is possible, so just stay tuned as winter storm warnings might be needed. Now, kind of across these purple shaded areas, kind of across the southern plains and through bits of the Ohio and Mid-Atlantic region, we are seeing some winter weather advisories showing that some impacts of winter weather is expected. We do have some wind advisories across bits of central bits of Oklahoma, just showing that, gusty winds are expected, as well as kind of this pink shaded color. This is our severe thunderstorm watch we do have in effect across western parts of Louisiana, southern portions of Arkansas, as well as eastern parts of Texas. Alright, so guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. If you guys did like it, make sure you leave a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Like I said before, if you guys do enjoy our content, consider donating in our Patreon page below. Go ahead and check it out. The link is in the description. It'll be greatly appreciated. But anyways, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video, and I'll catch you all in the next one.